وكذلك أوحينا إليك روحا من أمرنا ما كنت تدري ما الكتاب ولا الإيمان ولكن جعلناه نورا نهدي به من نشاء من عبادنا وإنك لتهدي إلى صراط مستقيم صراط الله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض ألا إلى الله تصير الأمور.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda. I'm your host Jamil Rashid, and I'd like to warmly welcome back today Sheikh Muhammad Salah. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and happy Eid to you, to your family, and to the entire ummah.
Qabbalallah minna wa minkum. And to all the brothers and sisters, we'd like to welcome you back and hope you had a very festive season. Okay, Sheikh, I've got a question I'd like to start with first. Before I do, let me just remind you of the telephone numbers. Okay, country code is 202-38555, 248 or 249. And just one notice there, if you're going to call, please do call in early, and secondly, turn down your television sets. We get a lot of interference, so if you could do that for me today. And the second thing is that we're getting a lot of emails, and people are worried that they're not getting answered. They are getting answered, but as you know, we have over several hundred emails weekly. Let me remind you of the email address. It's ask@huda.tv, and they are getting answered, so please do bear witness, be patient with us. Okay, I've got a question from Brother Rehan Ahmed, Sheikh. He's asking a very interesting question, really, regarding the point of view of prevention of having children. He says, what's Islamically allowed for you to do? Meaning, not having children for a certain period. Are you allowed to use certain medicines, certain products that the doctors give you, so you are not having children?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفخه ونفثه بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفاه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. All praise due to Allah. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can show him guidance. We bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah, and we bear witness that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is His last messenger. The process of regulating conception and having children is permitted with conditions. It's allowed for the couple to delay the process of conception for a while if the woman just gives birth and she's breastfeeding until the child grows up a little bit, so that she can take care of each child perfectly. Also, if a woman is experiencing some illness and difficulty, then the physician advises her not to conceive for the time being or for a while. That too is permissible. So leaving a gap between having children is permissible as well. But just mere stopping or preventing pregnancy period, relying on I already have a boy and a girl and that should be enough and so forth, that is prohibited, because one of the great objectives of marriage in Islam is to have children. And one of the reasons of pride on the Day of Judgment is having many righteous children to brag about on the Day of Judgment. تناكحوا تناسلوا تكاثروا فإني مباهم بكم الأمم يوم القيامة. So we have to differentiate between two things: complete and permanent prevention. If it is for health reason, if a physician says that such woman cannot conceive anymore because of the following reasons, and if she ever conceives, the child will be at risk, or the mother might have complications and her health will deteriorate. In such cases, similar to a woman who's given birth repeatedly through a C-section. 5 or more times, so the physician said he cannot conceive anymore because you have been cut several times. So in this condition, they say it is very risky. That's permissible for her. But those who rely on some modern and contemporary fatwa due to economical conditions and financial difficulties, it's okay to have a boy and a girl or just a couple. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refutes that in 2 verses in the Quran. He says in Surah Al-An'am once and in Surah Al-Isra the other one, he says, and don't you kill your children out of fear of poverty. In one verse he says, we provide for you and for them, and in the other he says, we provide for them and for you. So there is no excuse. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُم مِّنْ إِمْلَاقٍ. Don't you kill them out of fear of poverty. So the only reason which allows the couple to go for permanent prevention of pregnancy or conception is the health hazard. If she conceives, she will have complications. Or the physicians predict that the child will have some malformation or deformity. In this condition, that is permissible. Otherwise, it's permissible to organize the process of pregnancy to allow a gap between having two children or another child. That's permissible as well for a while, or for a temporary reason such as temporary health reasons. But permanently, out of fear of poverty, that is prohibited.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
It remains, of course, a very important thing, which is the tool or the mean of preventing.
Okay, that was the second part. Yeah. What sort of things can be used?
The general ruling that Allah the Almighty says, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِكُمْ رَحِيمًا. Don't you throw yourselves into harms by your own hands. And another verse he says, and don't you kill yourselves. And the Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith, لا ضرر ولا ضرار. Harm should not be inflicted nor reciprocated. So the person have to choose the tool which suits her based on the advice of an expert and a sincere and honest physician. Not a tool that would cause health deterioration in the future or great side effects, or otherwise we're trying to run away from harms, that we should not throw ourselves into a greater harm accordingly. So if the loop is described and prescribed and there is no side effects or a little bit of side effects, that's okay. If there is any other mean, I understand that in some conditions contraceptives cause great side effects, especially the tablets or the pills. It causes the person to gain a lot of weight and blood pressure and severe complications. If this is the case, then you should avoid it. That you should not consume or take anything that would hurt or harm you.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, the first call of the day, Sister Aisha from Bahrain. Sister, you're live and ask her your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to ask two questions. My first question is, it's about my friend. She's expecting and she had two children with cesarean C-section. So she wants to know that there is always one male attendant. So she wants to know that how, because even if there is a female doctor who is doing the operation, but there is anesthesiast or one or two male, they are always there. She's confused what to do.
Where is she
has
at?
checked many places. Everywhere they are saying that we cannot avoid this.
Okay, which country does she live, sister?
Bahrain.
She lives in Bahrain, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And my second question is regarding, can you please shed some light on these 6 days fasting in this month?
Okay.
Inshallah.
Jazakallah.
Barakallah fikum. Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sister Aisha there from Bahrain. Okay, I just wanted to complete that question off actually from the brother there. He's speaking about alcohol in cosmetic products, especially antiperspirants and so forth. Are we allowed to use these products with alcohol in them, Sheikh?
The issue of using alcohol in such products is disputed between the scholars. Some said, based on the fact that alcohol is not najis, they said it's permissible because you're not drinking it, you're not consuming it as intoxicant. And this is not the same chemical structure of alcohol, which is made to cause a person to get drunk. So they say it's permissible to use perfumes or antiperspirant or deodorant which have, or even medication that have alcohol. The other opinion which says that alcohol is najis and it is impure, so even touching it is prohibited. They say accordingly it's not permissible to wear any fragrance or any perfume or any deodorant, antiperspirant that has alcohol. And this dispute is going on and on and on. We understand that the Prophet ﷺ prohibited one of the companions who used to manufacture alcohol in order to use it as a treatment. He said, no, it's not a treatment. Rather, it is a disease in itself. So if it is a little bit or the ratio is insignificant, and it's not really a great deal, then it is permissible. But in such cases where the alcohol is in a high percentage, then it is better for a Muslim to avoid that.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Okay, let's take this question here from Sister Aisha from Bahrain. One of her friends, she's had 2 children already. She's going to have a 3rd child. The question is that while having this child, there's going to be some males, doctors or assistants in the actual room while it takes place. She lives in Bahrain. She wants your advice, Sheikh.
First of all, I would like to express my delight, my joy and happiness that the awareness of the fact that there is awrah, even during giving birth, is increasing among the Muslim Ummah. Alhamdulillah wa shukrulillah. And I would like also to explain that you have to be aware of your rights. You do have rights as patient. I do remember one day when my wife was giving birth in the States, and this is a non-Muslim country. And you know, it's difficult to say, no, I insist I need a female doctor or I need a female nurse, because this is a hospital. You may have your own physician or doctor, but with the nurses, with the delivery team, with the operating room, it's kind of difficult. Yet, I found out that you do have rights as a patient, and you can request whatever. You can even request a translator. You can request a special meal. You can request this and this and that. And all of our requests were honored. That's a fact. I have to admit it on air. And so if you are in a Muslim country, that's more worthy to be delivered, that you can ask for a female doctor. Many sisters call and say, is it okay to work as an engineer, as a construction engineer? We need more of anesthesiologists, females, gynecologists, mainly females. I don't understand why the number of gynecologists of men is outnumbering the women. It's supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to be that every gynecologist is a female, because this is awra mughallada, which should be uncovered due to necessity and by a woman, not by a man. So, number one, you have to insist on requesting a female team to deliver your wife, or you yourself, if you're taking care of this, you have to request a female and a female nurse and an anesthesiologist if it is possible. What if it is not possible? In this case, we'll consider it as a darura, and الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. Each necessity will be measured according to its conditions. We do not generalize ruling. What if there is no anesthesiologist whatsoever? What if there is, in some cases they said that, well, the case is very complicated, and the best person with this regard is a male doctor. Or otherwise there is a very high risk of the death of either, God forbid, the mother or the fetus or whatever. In this condition, we go to the alternative, which is whatever is available that suits the condition and takes care of it, only in this condition. We do not generalize the ruling, because as I said, الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. But we should not go one step ahead before taking care of, or at least trying to find out if this step is available or not. So do your best. Try to inquire a female doctor to deliver, and a female nurse and a female anesthesiologist. If it is not available at all in this condition, you can go for the alternative, which is the male. And that's prohibited, except during this necessity.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for that clarification. Next we have Brother Shakil from the United Arab Emirates. Brother, you're live on Askhuda, your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A relative of mine was sick during the last Ramadan and could not fast for the whole month. She was also unable to make up these fasts until this Ramadan, but she wants to observe 6 days of fasting of the month of Shawwal. Can she observe these fasts of Shawwal before making up the fast of the previous Ramadan?
Did she fast this last Ramadan?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
But couldn't make up for the fast of the previous Ramadan.
Okay.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Brother Shakil there from the United Arab Emirates. Jazakallah khair, brother. Okay, We're coming to the questions of the 6 days of Shawwal. Sister Aisha wants some explanation just to go guide through these 6 days. Sheikh, what are we supposed to do in regards to this fasting? How important are they?
I expect most of the questions to be focused on the issue of fasting the 6 days of the month of Shawwal, in order to gain the reward which is described in the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, whosoever observes fasting during the month of Ramadan, then succeeds atba'ahu, follows it immediately with fasting 6 days of the month of Shawwal, he shall receive the reward, he or she shall receive the reward of fasting lifetime, for the entire dahr. The word dahr expresses the meaning of lifetime of the individual who fasts during Ramadan in the 6 days. Why? The Prophet ﷺ says that al-hasanatu bi'ashri amthaliha. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, في Surah Al-An'am, مَنْ جَاءَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ فَلَهُ عَشْرُ أَمْثَالِهَا. There is a minimum reward for a good deed, 10 times more, multiplied 10 times. So if you fast during Ramadan, we'll assume it is 30 days times 10, that is 300. Then if you fast during the month of Shawwal 6 days, that is 6 times 10 equals 60. So total fasting is 360. That's a whole year. If you keep observing that on annual basis, that means you have been fasting as far as the reward throughout your entire life. So Allah gives the reward of fasting on every single day for a person who fasts only 1 month per year, which is Ramadan, and 6 days of Shawwal, even though the total fasting is 36 days, or maybe 35 days if the month of Ramadan was only 29 days as it happened this year. So, now how can a person or can a Muslim observe fasting of the 6 days of the month of Shawwal? To answer also the following question of Brother Shakil. The hadith says, ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَهُ, then succeeds the month of Ramadan with fasting 6 days. So it recommends to follow the fasting of Ramadan immediately. Of course, Eid al-Fitr is only 1 day. It's called Yawm al-Fitr. Then the following days are regular days. So you may begin fasting the 6 days of Shawwal as early as the 2nd day of the Eid, because Eid al-Fitr is only 1 day. In many cultures, they assume that Eid al-Fitr is 3 days, because the government give them a vacation for 3 days, and Eid al-Adha is 4 days, which is not true. Eid al-Fitr is only 1 day, which allows you to fast the 2nd day right after Eid, or the 1st day right after Eid, as a matter of fact. So, if you can do that, that's fine. And whether to fast them consecutively or spread them over throughout the month of Shawwal, it is optional, but it is best to fast them in a row. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَهُ. Somebody likes to fast the 6 days, 2 days a week, Mondays and Thursdays. That's perfectly fine. And the scholars, by the way, said if you do have a habit of fasting on these days, you will receive double the reward. The reward of fasting, your regular voluntary fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, in addition to observing fasting the 6 days of the month of Shawwal. Same thing with the fasting the 3 white days, which we call them the white days, 3 days of every month, 13th, 14th, and 15th of the lunar calendar. So if you happen to fast these 3 days, and you count them as of the 6 days of the month of Shawwal, with the intention of having the reward of both, inshallah, you will get the reward of both. As far as, what if somebody owes fasting that certain days of the month of Ramadan, he or she did not get to fast? وَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. So you should begin by making up the days which you did not get to fast during Ramadan first. Because the hadith says, مَنْ صَامَ رَمَضَانَ ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَهُ بِسِتٍّ مِّنْ شَوَّالٍ فَكَأَنَّمَا صَامَ الدَّهْرَ كُلَّهُ. So the hadith stated that whoever fasts during the month of Ramadan, you have to complete the course, then follow that with fasting 6 days. What if if a woman's monthly period was 15 or 20 days, it happens. Or somebody was sick for 20 days, more or less. That means he or she have first to make up, then fast 6 days. But if they try to make up the number of days which they missed during Ramadan, it would consume most of the month of Shawwal, and they would not get to do the 6 days. In this condition, we say, go ahead and make the 6 days first, and you're still allowed to make up later on. And I do have a reference to that. Aisha al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu ta'ala anha wa ardaha stated that they used to postpone making up the days of Ramadan until Sha'ban of the next year. So that means they used to postpone it, but they used also to observe fasting during the month of Shawwal, the 6 days. Most importantly, if you can make up first the few days which you missed during Ramadan, go ahead and do it, then succeed them or follow them with fasting 6 days from the month of Shawwal. But if the time does not allow, and the month of Shawwal will finish before you get to do both, then begin with fasting the 6 days of Shawwal, and Allah knows best. I have to make it brief because there are several falcons waiting.
Jazakallah khair. You can expand on it if we have some time, Sheikh. Sister Nahal from Egypt, your next sister on askhuda, your question please. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is it permissible for women to wear accessories in the presence of non-mahram?
Okay.
Thank you.
You got the question, Sheikh?
No.
Jazakallah, Sister Nahal there from Egypt. Next we have Aisha from the United Arab Emirates. Sister, you're live on askhuda, your question please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Eid Mubarak.
And to you too,
To you,
sister.
sister.
Qabbalallah minna wa minkum.
Ameen.
Ameen.
My question is, my first question is regarding Sheikh Albani's fatwa regarding the permissibility of women wearing gold. I wanted to know on what reference did the Sheikh say so. I hope Sheikh Saleh understood.
No, okay.
Okay, my second question is, can a woman breastfeed her child during her salah, if the salah is long, like during the tarawih?
No.
Okay, and during the tawaf as well.
Okay.
1 second, my daughter has a question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Did angel Jibreel see Allah?
Okay. We got the question there.
What's your name, honey?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, we lost the call there from one of our, I think that's probably the youngest viewer we've had. Jazakallah khair. That's Aisha from the United Arab Emirates. Okay, got a question here, Sheikh. Sister Nahal, you got the question from Egypt?
Yes, wearing the accessories for women and showing them before the non-mahram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. They are not supposed to show their adornment except what normally appears, such as the ring. But besides that, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says also, وَلَا يَضْرِبْنَ بِأَرْجُلِهِنَّ لِيُعْلَمَ مَا يُخْفِينَ مِنْ زِينَتِهِنَّ. You're not supposed to do a move that strikes the adornment, the gold or the silver, the bracelets or the necklace or the anklets, so that it would announce your presence and would attract the viewers to look at you or people who are around. Remember that the zina or the adornment is only prescribed for you to wear before your husband. It is not to attract others, it is not to attract the viewers. And when the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam allowed women and encouraged them, even women during their menses, to attend Salat al-Eid and to go out to the Musalla, he said, وَلْيَخْرُجْنَ تَفِلَاتٍ. The word tafilat means ordinary or even subordinary, not wearing any attraction. And the attraction is not only in the jewelry or in the adornment. The adornment could be your own clothes. It is very widespread now to see women wearing what they think it's hijab. But under any circumstances, this is not hijab. A scarf which is very colorful, from every color, rainbow colors, wrapping their heads tightly, their necks tightly, wearing tight clothes, stretch clothes, and they call it hijab. That's a zina. And it is haram to show it to other than your husband. There is a zina which is only limited to the husband. And there is a zina which is permissible to show before the mahram. And any zina is not allowed to appear before a non-mahram because it attracts them to look at you. And the purpose of the hijab is to be a barrier between you and people who are not your mahram, so that they wouldn't look at you. يَخْرُجْنَ تَفِلَاتٍ. They go out very ordinary, not wearing any adornment. This is the proper way, and that's why when some of the viewers ask, what is the dress code for a Muslimah? There is no such dress code, that you don't have to wear a specific dress. I would say, yes, they wear in Saudi or they wear in Pakistan. No, any clothes that covers the awrah, of any color, that's permissible. Any clothes which are wide, spacious, loose, not see-through, and long, covering your body, these are the clothes of the hijab which cover the awrah.
Jazakallah khair. I've got some comments on that, but we've got a call here, so we're just going to take Sister Safiya from Egypt. Sister, you're live, and ask her your question, please. Sister Safiya, are you with us?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for your program. Actually, I've broken my fasting intensely through Ramadan because of being pregnant and then breastfeeding my baby.
Okay.
And then even this Ramadan, I found myself pregnant again. So I don't know whether I'm included in the verse Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. So I can only feed 4 people, or shall I compensate my fasting by fasting them again? And I don't know when actually, because it's very hard for me to fast while being pregnant and breastfeeding. And thank you very much.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sister Safiya there from Egypt. Okay, the comment, Sheikh, I had was that I recently visited one of the countries, one of the Arab countries, and I saw the hijab there. And the thing that was interesting...
The so-called hijab.
The so-called hijab. It was black totally, but every item of accessory possible, a hijab with red hearts on it, or something on the back which is just shiny, and this becomes the norm now. I mean, it's the norm, but everybody, it's very strange to see somebody in just plain clothing. Everything's attractive to some point. It's become part of the normal dress. So some people are going to say, well, actually, this is hijab, because this is not something which is strange. People don't look at it anymore. They don't see it as something being attractive.
And that's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam warned us again, is that in a sound hadith, and he said, وَنِسَاءٌ كَاسِيَاتٌ عَارِيَاتٌ. He began by saying that there will be women who are kasiyat. Kasiyat means they are dressed up. Yet, they're naked. You know, the Satan designers who are designing these clothes, even the aba'ah,
really
which
bad,
is covering the niqab and glitter all over, with the hood, with the accessories, with gold and silver on their clothes, and the shiny clothes which are revealing the details of the body. So whatever the woman moves, any move she makes, it would show a part of her body. This is only for your bedroom. This is only for your husband. What is the purpose of wearing the zina? Is a mean of attraction to your spouse, right? Is a mean of attraction to your spouse. But if you wear whatever you wear to attract others, then you are similar to a woman who is wearing new fashions, or mini skirt, or tight jeans, because you have the same mentality. If you stand before the mirror for an hour, more or less, to adjust yourself, to appear pretty, to appear very attractive, then what difference is it between you and a woman who is not wearing hijab at all? But if you stand before the mirror to make sure that you're not wearing any attraction to any person, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited perfumes for women upon going out, even to the masjid. Said, if you happen to go to the masjid wearing any perfume, go back and wash it off. Or else, there is a great threat. Why? Because whether a perfume, or wearing any glitter or jewelry which make noise to announce your presence, cause attraction to the non-mahram, to any person. Look, who's here? Who's she? Who's here? So by bringing their eyes into your body to look at you, this is not a hijab. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our Muslim sisters to what's best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Okay, with that we're going to take a small break, and inshallah return in a couple of minutes. Please do stay with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad Rasulillah. The religion of Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, and the majority of that growth is taking place right here in the United States of America. According to most reliable estimates, there are more than 7 million Muslims living in the United States of America. Muslims have become valuable and vital assets to the American society. So please join me as I travel around America and introduce you to a few of the many Muslims in America.
رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. There is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger.
When you are weak and the road seems long, remember, just remember, seek strength.
We're looking at the names of Allah from the perspective of not only their understanding, knowing what they are, knowing what they mean, but also looking at how they should impact on our lives. We should gain from it a sense of Allah, the vastness of Allah's mercy, how it encompasses every aspect of His creation. Al-Malik, Al-Malik, and Al-Malik. Al-Malik translated as the sovereign Lord, Al-Malik, the owner, and Al-Malik, the king. In the names of Allah.
Allah is the only guide. When your heart is breaking and your pain makes you fall, remember, just remember, Allah sees it all.
My name is Sharif Touni and this is brought to you from Huda TV. In today's edition we'll be discussing about the day and night.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equated the samawat with darkness, the firmament with darkness, and equated the earth with light. Why? Are there really pillars that cannot be seen?
Or is it an unseen pillar?
Everything is running, but the relationships are fixed. Yes. So that it would appear to people as if nothing is running, you see. We are destroying our environment with our own hands. And that's why the Quran says, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ask Huda. I just want to remind you before we go into the questions of our telephone numbers. Should come up on your screen now. Country code is 202, then it's 38555, 248 or 249. And our email address is ask@huda.tv. We've got a call waiting here. Let me see who it is. Sister Zara from the United Arab Emirates. Sister, you're live on Ask Huda. Your question, please.
Brother, this is Zara with you from United Arab Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
My question to you is, I am doing my Islamic studies degree, and I have been taught by tajweed by a male teacher. So, are we allowed to, recite the Quran with the male teacher?
Okay.
And second question is, for example, sometimes some scholars say it is allowed, but even in my class there are male students. So, it is allowed to recite for a female with the male companion. And secondly, second question is, suppose take example, my husband asked me not to see particular scholar, the serial. For example, not because of due to the wrong concepts or something, but because I like somebody. So he says not to see this particular scholar. So what am I supposed to do? Should I stop viewing this scholar, or should I proceed it?
Okay. Barakallah. Jazakallah khair, Sister Zahra from the United Arab Emirates. Next we have Abdurrahman from Egypt. Sister, you're live on Huda, your TV station. Your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'd just like to say that, subhanAllah, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward the Sheikh and the TV station, because, the Ummah, we need as many people like you to help us. Inshallah, there's not enough, but alhamdulillah.
Barakallah fiki, sister.
Okay, jazakallah. Anyway, I text a message, but the question is that there's a brother and sister who, the sister was a revert, and they had a nikah, and they didn't have any specific wali. They just had a Muslim brother do the wali for the sister.
Mhm.
And I know this nikah is valid. And then they had 2 children, but then they had 3 talaqs.
Okay.
Okay, and then because they found out for a reason that the nikah was not valid, they did a nikah with another because because of the children involved.
Mhm.
And then subhanallah, they want to know if this nikah is valid.
Okay.
And they want to do the right thing, by Allah and face Allah, on the day of judgment, and and try and find out what they can. And they want to know also the status of the children as inheritance and things like that. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah feek. Jazakallah, Sister Abdurrahman. Actually, I've got the question here. It's by SMS, so we did get a copy of it. But Jazakallah khair for calling us and for your kind words. Okay, Sheikh, let's see if we can get back to some of these questions. Okay, it's Aisha from the United Arab Emirates. Asked a question about a certain fatwa or certain opinion by one of our great scholars of the past, Sheikh Al-Albani, may Allah have mercy upon him, regarding gold for women. You know about the Sheikh.
Specifically the circled gold. Okay, instead of presenting the fatwa of the Shaykh, may Allah have mercy on him, I'll just present the fatwa of the Jumhur, the vast majority of the scholars, because that is much more important. In addition to, that is a considered opinion, which is, it is permissible for a woman to wear any kind of gold, in any form or shape, circled or non-circled, rings, earrings, necklace, bracelets, whatever, and to keep them in any form or shape. And the reference to that is that one day the Prophet ﷺ was giving a speech, and he advised women to give in a charity. So they started chipping in. A woman would take her earring and drop it before the Prophet ﷺ. A woman would take her bracelet, and a woman would... So that took place before the Prophet ﷺ, and that was a sound hadith. So Nabi ﷺ have seen them wearing gold and did not object to that. And Allah knows best. So that is what I believe is the more right opinion, that it's permissible for a woman to wear gold in any form or shape, as long as she's not wearing them as a mean of showing off or arrogance. Because anything, even what's lawful, if a person wears it kibr or batar, out of pride or arrogance or showing off, riya, then it becomes prohibited.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Sister Aisha had a second question regarding a sister who wants to breastfeed while she's in salah. Like you said, it's a long salah, like tarawih, and she wants to breastfeed. Is it allowed? And also tawaf?
I don't know about breastfeeding in the salah, but cuddling the child or comforting the baby while praying or carrying them, all of that is permissible, whether in tawaf or whether in salah. But as far as breastfeeding, Allah knows best. I don't know.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Okay, the sister's daughter had a question, and the question was, did Angel Jibreel speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That was the question.
Angel Jibreel alayhi salam is always in touch with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he takes the revelation from him and he sends him to all the prophets before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and then to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So definitely there was a dialogue between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam blamed him for being late, if you remember the story of Surah Al-Kahf, and when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked that you've been away for a while, it was 15 days, he said, وَمَا نَتَنَزَّلُ إِلَّا بِأَمْرِ رَبِّكَ, and we only come down with the command of your Lord. So there is always a communication between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His angels who are assigned with tasks to do. Specifically, Angel Jibreel alayhi salam, who is the boss of all the angels.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, we've got to call Sister Nikia from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Sister, you're live and ask her your questions, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Happy Eid.
Happy Eid to you too, sister.
Sheikh, I have special respect for you. And I have 3 questions. The first, my question is,
yes, sister.
When we read Quran, can we use cassette while recording any tape? No problem. We can use. Is it ajr or how?
Okay. Yes.
The second, my question is, there is a person, they say when the last pray for Isha, we can pray tahajjud. It's okay.
Okay.
Or I want explanation because they say after Isha we cannot pray.
Okay.
يعني midnight ليس ثلاث ليلة.
Okay. If you could turn down your television set, Sister Nikia, I'd appreciate that if possible.
Sorry?
If you can turn down your television set, please, Sister. I think we see the problems there. Yes, Sister, your third question. Sister Nikia, are you there? Okay, I think we've lost Sister Nikia there. Just a brief reminder, I think you saw the example of that there. If you're going to telephone, please do turn down your television sets. We've got your two questions, Sister. If you want to ring back again, maybe we'll get your third one there. Okay, Sheikh. Sister Safiya from Egypt asked a question, and we answered it actually previously, but good clarification. Somebody who couldn't fast for 2 Ramadans in a row due to being having a child and also breastfeeding. Do they fall within that ayah, Sheikh? Are they allowed to give compensation, feed the poor, or do they have to make up these fasts?
When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and those of you who are sick, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ sick or travelers, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ, they should make it up. That is the original ruling for people who can still afford to make it up. But if somebody is sick permanently or ill for good, yani is chronically ill, with a disease that it is not expected, لا يرجى منه بر, it's not expected to heal next year or the year after. In this condition, they undergo the second ruling, which is وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مسكين. So the fidya, which is feeding one poor or miskin person per each day, is prescribed for elders who, even if they fast, they find it very difficult, or men or women who are chronically ill are not expected to heal. So that is number one. Number two, there is another ruling here, which is, what if a person was sick or traveling and did not get to make up the missed days of Ramadan throughout this year until there is another Ramadan, and there is another Ramadan? Al-Jumhur, based on a hadith which is mawquf, narrated by Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, they should do both. They should do the qada and the kafara. They should offer the fidya for postponing the fasting for another term, after another Ramadan. And they should still make it up because they're healthy and they're resident. They can still make it up. So there is a combination between both of them. Opposed to this opinion is the opinion of Al-Imam Abu Hanifa, and said there is no such thing to combine between Al-Qada or Al-Kafara. It's either one of them. So if you are eligible for Al-Kafara, if you're chronically ill or elder and not expected to recover, then you're eligible to give the Kafara or the Fidya, feeding one miskin per each day that you cannot fast during Ramadan, and you don't owe any fasting. And if you are sick temporarily or for some time, then you recover, then you must make it up the same number of days which you did not fast during Ramadan.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, Brother Abu Bakr from Egypt, you want to ask your question, please. Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question.
Okay, carry on.
My question is, what does Islam tell us about aliens? Do they exist?
Okay.
And I do have a question for you too, Abu Bakr. Are you there?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 9 years old.
9, mashallah.
Okay.
And how many paras do you memorize of the Quran?
2.
2, mashallah. La quwwata illa billah. Next time you call, I want to hear from you that you have finished 4. Okay? Mashallah. Barakallah feek. May Allah bless you and your family.
Barakallah feek. That's Brother Abu Bakr from Egypt, another one of our younger callers. Jazakallah khair. Okay, we've got a couple of questions, Sheikh, for the telephone. They got cut off in the break there. Sister Aisha from Nigeria. She really just wants some advice. She's married to somebody for some time. Her husband is not really practicing Islam anymore. He's not practicing it. He's making some sins, and these are open. She wants to know, what's my situation? Am I really allowed to ask for divorce, or do I have to stick in this marriage until I pass away?
These kind of questions need family counseling, by the meaning, I'm not supposed to give a general answer, or otherwise it would be misinterpreted. Because it is very broad to say, my husband is not practicing Islam. It varies from an individual to another. Some woman, if her husband is not praying Qiyamul Layl, she says he's not practicing Islam. And another woman is serious and says that he does not pray. Even Jumu'ah, he does not pray. He did not fast during this last Ramadan. He's drinking or whatever. If somebody does not pray and for a while and he's insisting on not praying, he judges himself as a non-Muslim. Brothers and sisters, you have to understand this equation. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man tarakaha العهد الذي بيننا وبينهم الصلاة فمن تركها فهو منهم." The barrier, the difference between us and others, that pronoun refers to non-Muslims, is as-salah. Maybe a Muslim is committing major sins, but when it comes to the salah, that is the most important pole of Islam. If he's not praying, then he's one of them. He's not one of us. And that's why if you're living in a Muslim society and you happen to present your case before a Muslim judge, he will separate you because he says he's not a Muslim. As a matter of fact, if he's tried before a Muslim court, there is a very great consequences if he insists on not praying, because he pronounces himself as a non-Muslim, as a murtad, and he will be treated as a non-Muslim. So first of all, we have to find out what exactly, what kind of level he's on of practicing Islam. Is he praying? Yes. Maybe he's smoking, and that's a major sin as I consider. So we have to speak to him. We have to explain to him. If there is a conflict between the couple, right away, one of them would pick on the worst things in the traits of the other and present them in his or her questions. And that's why I tend to avoid answering these questions on air. I prefer to have personal counseling with issues of marriage, divorce, and family counseling. It is preferable to have a local sheikh who sits and you both consult him and you get a fatwa from him. There is also a recommendation, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبَعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهَا. But if it is serious, such as that he's not praying, and you guys spoke to him repeatedly, and you advised him, and you spoke to his family members, and he's insisting on not praying, then life with such person is permissible, not because of your choice, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Okay, got a question here from a sister, also for the telephone. She's from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. She didn't leave her name, unfortunately. Got cut off the call. She said she's been divorced from her husband, final divorce, but she wants to return to him. Now she's got a plan, and this is the thing she's saying. She wants to get married to somebody, and then get divorced, and then get married back to her original husband. Is this allowed here?
If this whole process is pre-planned, then marriage and divorce and marriage again is invalid. And the Prophet ﷺ cursed such people who get involved in this pre-arranged marriage in order to make her lawful for her first husband. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا, meaning if he divorced her the third time, he says الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. Divorce is only 2 times. We're talking about the reversible divorce, where the husband is allowed to return to his custody, his divorced wife, within the iddah period. 3 quru, 3 menstruations, or 3 purities after menstruations, according to the dispute of the scholars of understanding the word quru. Or in case of a woman who does not have the period, or she passed the menopause, we say 3 months. So the 3 months during this time, which is the iddah, if he reversed his word and he reversed her back, return her to his marriage life, then she is his wife once and twice. And after that, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا, the third time, فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِن بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنْكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ. She is never permissible for him to return her, even with a new marriage contract, before or after the iddah, unless unless she gets married to another person after her iddah is over. Mm-hmm. And this marriage should not pre-planned. I mean, that a regular marriage, that they're getting married to live happily forever. Then if it doesn't work out and he divorces her, the second husband, then after the iddah is over, if the first husband is interested in remarrying her and they both agree to that, it is permissible for him to remarry her with a new marriage contract, with a new dowry, and we start counting the number of divorce from the scratch. But if any of that, if any step of this process is pre-planned, then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam cursed al-muhallal wal-muhallal lah, the person who marries in order to make her lawful for her first husband, and he curses the first husband as well. So be aware of that. It is not permissible to do such thing, unless if you do it regular, meaning that you do not intend to marry in order to get divorced, in order to become lawful for your first husband.
Jazakallah. Okay, I think we've got the last call of the day, Sister Fatima from Egypt. Sister, you're live and ask her your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is, if someone is killed by an armed robber, is he going to paradise? Thank you.
I think just Fatima inspired me right now to have a special edition of Askhuda for junior viewers.
Junior Askhuda.
MashaAllah, yeah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Fatima. I think you've inspired the Sheikh there. So you may be seeing a junior Askhuda soon. I'll just request you to still be here with you, Sheikh, inshallah. Okay, let's get these questions over and done with. Okay, Sister Zahra is asking a question. A very important question, really, regarding her studies. MashaAllah, the sister's doing an Islamic studies degree. And may Allah preserve her and make her successful in this. She said she's doing tajweed in this as well, and her teacher's male. And let me give you the second question. In this class also she has male students.
No.
She wants to know, can she recite in front of the teacher, in front of these males?
First of all, woman's voice is not awra, is not prohibited for foreigners or non-mahram to hear it. That's been going on through the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ and the rightly guided Khulafa and after. Men used to teach women and vice versa. Women used to teach men with the condition فَلَا تَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ فَيَطْمَعَ الَّذِي فِي قَلْبِهِ مَرَضٍ. As long as you are not speaking softly with an attractive voice or intending to do such melodious tone which would attract the audience, that is permissible. We ask now about the superiority and what's preferable. If you have a tajweed teacher who is a female, who has mastered the tajweed and she can teach you, then it is much more recommended for you to study with her. But if it is not available, and what's available is a male, then you may recite and attend the classes with the previous condition. فَلَا تَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ فَيَطْمَعَ الَّذِي فِي قَلْبِهِ مَرَضٍ. You should not recite as you sing, and rather you recite with just applying the rules of tajweed.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Okay, the last question from the sister is regarding a certain scholar. Her husband says, I don't want to visit this scholar or sit in his durus or anything so forth. Not because his knowledge is defunct, just because the husband doesn't prefer that scholar.
For whatever reason, you must obey your husband, especially he's not the only sheikh. He's not the only sheikh where if you don't study with him, you will not find any other source of knowledge. Knowledge now, brothers and sisters, and authentic and sound knowledge is available online, via satellite TVs, and audio and video lectures. So if he says, do not listen to this, do not make this point a point of dispute or difference between you and your husband, rather obey your husband, and you may change and listen to another sheikh. And most likely, what happens why the husband insists on that, because a remark that the wife made concerning the sheikh, I like the sheikh, I like to see the sheikh, I like to listen. So you have to be smart also and be moderate. Whenever you praise somebody, you should say, وَلَا نُزَكِّي أَحَدًا عَلَى اللَّهِ. Allah knows best whether he's righteous or not. And may appear as righteous before you, but only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about the hiddens. So you focus on one thing, that you are interested in knowledge. So you admire this part, that I think he's an authentic source of knowledge. And Allah knows best. And as I said, in answer to your question, you should really comply with your husband, and Allah knows best.
Jazakallah Sheikh for all your answers today. That's all the time we have for you on askhuda this week. Please do send us your emails to ask@huda.tv. And again, I remind you, if you do call in early, like we've got so many people waiting, unfortunate questions pending. Well, until next time, we both leave you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If my love is attached to thee, then from sins I will be free. Each time my heart will beat, your name will resound with heat. Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.